You know what? Just isn't working. Maybe I gotta switch things up. I wonder what else I could switch it up with. Maybe I'll just stick to fasting protocols. Yo, 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 what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. This week, I want to touch on something that you probably noticed, especially if you are on some sort of health/fasting journey of your own. And that is the oh so evil fasting plateau. Essentially why it happens and what you can do to overcome it. And the place we have to start here is with the genius in the room. The biological, chemical, physiological PhD in the room. Not me. Probably not you either, even though you're not in the room, but I feel like you're in the room. Friend. The smart person in the room, our body. I mean, it is extremely, extremely smart. You see, it is on this ever-going quest to find homeostasis or balance, something we should be interested in too as well. I mean, think about it. It continuously adapts to everything that we throw at it, whether it be diet, whether it be exercise, whether it be a fasting protocol, whether it be an interpretive dance. No, it doesn't adapt to interpretive dance. Okay, that might be the outlier here. But anyway, it is so crazy good at adapting to different changes and things we throw at it that we've identified a name for that in the health and wellness world, and that's called, like I said before, a plateau. The evil plateau. And in layman's terms, a plateau is essentially the body responding differently in the latter weeks of an intervention than it did in the beginning weeks of an intervention. This is life. We are essentially equipped with all of these awesome, cool survival mechanisms that we just don't need really that much anymore. Because for the majority of us, we're really not toughing it out on the frozen tundra anymore. You know, we're in a nice little office with a nice little camera and a space heater up to the right. The facts simply are that you are in a totally different biochemical state today than you were 3 months ago when you started this healthy intervention. For example, in the terms of intermittent fasting, your body goes through a number of both internal biological changes and physiological changes that you can actually see, on the outside. You typically become more metabolically efficient, you become more fat adapted, your hormone levels change, you have an increase in mitochondria efficiency, your daily metabolic rate typically decreases along with your body mass if you're losing weight. So that means over this hypothetical 3 months, even though you're eating in a designated window and your calorie consumption might not change, as you lose weight, as you become more metabolically efficient, you burn less. So your energy balance goes from a slight caloric deficit to, even or even maybe an increase in your caloric consumption. And that's how the metabolic cookie crumbles. And with all this metabolic change going on, a lot of it being good change, it becomes harder and harder to get the same results by putting in the same effort. Does that make sense? Any questions in the audience? No. Moving on. If your goal is to lose weight, which I would say is on the vast majority's to-do list, you've probably heard or are probably aware of the phrase that the last 5 pounds is the hardest, because it is. Our bodies do not want to give up any more of that precious fat, because unlike us, our bodies are more interested in survival than they are in beach season. Hard to believe. So it's important to shake things up, to keep the body guessing. Without doing so, a particular protocol may become stale from both a effectiveness and plain boredom standpoint. So with all that being said, how do you overcome this biological nuisance? Actually, survival mechanism, but who's keeping score? This brings us to the main point of this video. Don't be afraid to switch it up. Cycling through different strategic fasting protocols can and probably will bring about new and unforeseen benefits that you wouldn't get by just following a standard, 16-8 protocol for 2 years, a year, 6 months. All right, 6 months you might not plateau, but 2 years. And there's a good chance you'll see these benefits at both a cellular and physiological level. To give you a quick personal example, I just finished up a 6-month alternate day fasting protocol. There's no reading between the lines here. It is essentially exactly what it sounds like. Eating every other day for 6 months. The main goals that I wanted to get out of this 6-month experiment was to, 1, see how the body responds after following an early time-restricted feeding protocol for the last 18 months. And 2, activate health and longevity pathways such as AMPK, the 7 sirtuins, and autophagy on a more frequent basis, every other day. It's also the reason I'm about to embark on a 5-2 OMAD strategy for the foreseeable future. This one takes a little more definition, but essentially it's going to be 5 days of eating, 2 consecutive days of fasting, and on days of eating, following a OMAD eating protocol, 1 meal a day. So in the name for cellular health, that is the next strategic fasting protocol that I'm going to embark on. I'm sure you'll see some updates in the not too distant future on that. So again, my message to you is to tweak away. No need to do anything extreme here. Just a few tweaks on what you're already doing so well. Things such as condensing or expanding your feeding window, moving your feeding window earlier or later in the day, some really cool stuff on early time-restricted feeding, adding full fasting days into the mix here and there, and also changing things such as the food you consume, the physical activity that you perform, the interpretive dances that you do. Still no interpretive dances? Jeez. If you've already embarked on some sort of health or fasting protocol, I commend you. You've done the toughest part. The key now is to not get discouraged as your results, or the results that are of value to you, such as weight loss, tend to slow down. We're all playing this continuous game. We're observing what's happening out there on the court, we're calling a timeout, we're making adjustments, and we're moving on. There is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to health. Things need to be adjusted at the individual level. So don't be afraid to try something new. I don't know, something like a interpretive dance. But just don't try to have your dog walk you. Doesn't work. Tried it. Have a week.